last I checked, it was the DEI candidates that needed the standard lowered. But now it seems like the people who want to work for ICE might get their standards. Let's just see how this all plays out.
They're not being properly trained. Do you know that?
They're shooting dogs. They're shooting dogs in people's that have been locked in people's bathrooms. They're abandoning small children alone.
ICE police officer whose weapon discharged and injured a U.S. Marshal.
I have another CNN panel for us to hop into, this one covering the egregious targeting of civilians and children, US citizen children, we've seen from ICE under Donald Trump. So if you can, take a moment, leave us a like on the video. It helps us out a ton. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers, and let's get right to the breakdown.
Is there proper training happening here when it comes to ICE?
There's not. We've all seen it. And there should be.
You definitively state that they're not being properly trained. Do you know that?
They're shooting dogs. They're shooting dogs in people's that have been locked in people's bathrooms. They're abandoning small children alone in cars while they. No, it's not false. Look it up. Don't just say false. I actually
abandoning small children. They turned the children over to HHS.
There were actually small children abandoned in a highway in a car in Cicero, Illinois.
You make these sweeping statements that they're not training.
Would you like me
they're
to
not
get
training ICE.
with
of course they go through
examples
training.
of what is happening?
Of course they're training them.
Well, they're training them, then they're not learning this stuff. They're definitely violating human rights.
I mean, first off, I find it hilarious that these MAGA clowns regularly said that black people were DEI hires, and that meant that they were unqualified and untrained with no evidence or data or anything to support those claims. It's just common sense of what would have to happen if you're going to diversify hires. Meanwhile, ICE publicly lowers their hiring and training standards, and we're seeing US citizen after US citizen get targeted, children be detained, and just unprofessionalism and chaos, messiness all around. But who knows if their standards have been lowered? Give me a break. And yes, this has been happening to children at the hands of ICE all over. Yes, in Cicero, ICE agents literally took the parents of a teen the parents had lived here 20 plus years, mind you, leaving the teen with her younger siblings that were 12 and I think 10 or 9 alone in a car on the side of the road. But this is MAGA's America that each one of them voted for and are comfortable happening because, hey, at least you got tax cuts, right?
ICE police officer whose weapon discharged and injured a U.S. Marshal and the suspect because they were using the service weapon to bang on the window of a suspect.
Where it should be noted again, no comparable action under Joe Biden. This is an unprecedented level of stupid, unable to be matched by any other man, supported by none other than MAGA. What we're finding out is, well, first, like confirmation that the party of merit was truly just doing racism and pretending that DEI hires were unqualified, and that's why they were against black people getting jobs. Because first off, look at this cabinet that MAGA is okay with. No daily cries about it like they did when black pilots were the thing. I wonder why that is. But then it's also clear Trump is here replacing merit for loyalty in the military and the government, especially in agencies like ICE, where despite this being public, knowledge anyone can find, seemingly MAGA does not care. They do not have the same vitriol as they did when they thought it was black and brown people being put ahead of white people. Again, I wonder what the difference here is.
The last I checked, it was the DEI candidates that needed the standard lowered. But now it seems like the people who want to work for ICE might get their standards. Let's just see how this all plays out.
That's not what's happening. They're failing. The system is working. They have fitness standards. They have standards for civics. If you fail the standards, you don't get in. So the story is that you have a system in place designed to weed people out who shouldn't be in. And it's working. That's a good thing.
I will say this. So here's what we know, at least for now. In February, the requirements were this: 32 sit-ups in a minute or less, 22 push-ups in a minute or less, 220-yard sprint, 1.5 mile run. Now, the standard is 15 push-ups as opposed to 22. So it's still 32 sit-ups, 1.5 miles in slightly less time.
A literal lowering of the standard, provable, empirical, everybody can see it, where predominantly white people are being hired to target black people. It's all public, anyone can find this information, yet not a peep from MAGA. Literally none of them have anything to say about it. If you press like a random MAGA voter, they might be like, oh, I haven't heard of that, but not a fan, or whatever, you know, to like pretend they're not a cult member. But but none of them have the vitriol they had when they were like flooding my comments a year ago about black DEI hires and Kamala Harris and all of this. So ask yourself, why is that? Because the answer is pretty clear, and I think we all know what it is. These people just want white people to get ahead and black people to be forced behind. So much so that they'll attack something like DEI, which has been around for 6 decades, where they can't point to any standards being lowered, any data or statistics on quality of services dropping because of it. But then they have nothing to say, at least relatively nothing to say, when it's proven to be happening for white people under Trump at ICE. You gotta love MAGA politics.